Hello everybody, my name is David Carrick. I'm the Manager of Technology and Innovation for the West Virginia Manufacturing Extension Partnership, which is part of Mining and Industrial Extension in the Statler College of Engineering and Mineral Resources at West Virginia University. Today I want to talk to you about cybersecurity and how to protect yourself in an ever-growing world of connectivity. Whether you believe it or not, you are a target. A lot of times I hear it'll never happen to me, what do they want from me? When the fact of the matter is you're exactly what they want because you're not expecting to be attacked or to be hacked and have your personal data compromised. So what I want to do today is just give you some tips to hopefully protect yourself and keep your personal information safe in our cyber world. So regularly manage all of your accounts. When you think about the accounts you access every day, you have email, work sites, school sites, maybe something for a hobby or personal interest. Those you tend to stay on top of, but it's the accounts that you haven't used for a really long time that you need to be wary of. Things like instant messaging programs from years ago, or maybe an online store where you bought something and had to create an account that you haven't used since then. Those accounts are still out there with your personal information that can be compromised by a cyber criminal. So if the quicker we can clean those accounts up, whether it be going through a help desk to find out how to deactivate those accounts or finding those old login and passwords and removing them yourself, the less accounts you have, the less chance you have of being hacked by a cyber criminal. Consider all of your passwords. Chances are you probably have 3 or 4 passwords that you use for everything you do online. The problem with this is if one of those passwords is compromised, any other site where you use that password is now vulnerable for attack. Every site you log into should have a unique password. That password should be changed every 3 to 6 months, and you should never reuse a password. Now, if you're anything like me, that's kind of a daunting task. That can be a job in and of itself. So one of the things that I do and I would recommend looking into are password safes. These are programs that monitor and maintain all of your passwords, creating strong, unique passwords for every login you have. The only requirement of you is to manage one username and one password. Now, the question probably in your mind is, how safe is this? And to be honest, nothing is 100% foolproof. But the advantages and benefits of using a password safe far exceed those of not using one. Use two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication wherever it's available. Two-factor authentication adds another layer of security to the login process, requiring a personal piece of information. You still log into a site like you always do with a username and password, but for two-factor authentication, you have to provide something else, such as a code that might be delivered to your email or smartphone, a code delivered to a small device called a trigger, or something even more in-depth for larger companies such as biometrics using retinal scans, fingerprint technology, or even voice prompts. The goal with this is to add an extra layer of security to make sure you are who you say you are. If a cyber criminal is able to compromise your login and password, they can use that to get in, but this personal piece of information that two-factor requires or requests from you is something that only you are likely to have. So it's another way to help keep yourself safe in an online world. Be mindful of where you click. Attachments and web links are one of the easiest ways for a cyber criminal to gain access to your personal information. When you receive an email or an attached file, don't open it unless you know who it's coming from and that you were expecting it. If you click on an attachment that you weren't expecting, you could possibly be installing viruses, malware, or ransomware on your device, rendering it useless at that point. The same is true for web links. When you get a link from somebody, hover over the link with your mouse and look at the bottom left corner of your browser to see where that link's really taking you. Just because the link has something in the text doesn't mean that's the true destination of it. Taking a few minutes to verify a sender by just sending an email, a text message, or a phone call to ask if they've sent you that link or that file can save you a lot of time, money, and hassle in the future. Do not use free Wi-Fi. It's available everywhere, it's convenient, we've all done it at some point, but the issue with free Wi-Fi is that that network is not secure. So any traffic that crosses that network could easily be intercepted by a cyber criminal and used against you. If you need to connect a device when you're out and about, consider using your smartphone as a mobile hotspot. The wireless network that cellular carriers use is encrypted and is going to do a better job of protecting your information as it goes from point A to point B versus free Wi-Fi. If you need to connect a lot and you don't want to use your phone, consider a virtual private network or a VPN. These programs are available usually for a fee, but they encrypt the data on your device and secure it as it goes across the network to its intended location and then decrypt it on the back end, making it harder for a cyber criminal or anybody to intercept that data. Only install apps on your mobile devices from trusted sources like the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Once an application is on your device, it can gain access to a number of things, including your contact information, your personal information, your camera, your microphone, and so much more. So before you install an app, you want to make sure it's properly vetted and verified. Usually these stores like the App Store or the Google Play Store will do that before they post it, but it's always good to do some due diligence on your own. Some things that you can do before you download the app, look to see what it wants to have control of. If you're downloading a game to play to pass the time, it doesn't need access to your camera or to your microphone. You can also do some internet searching to find out if there's any issues with the app. Maybe you search whatever the name of the app is, followed by a data scam or scandal, just to see what's out there. If the developer only has one app, that could possibly be a red flag. And most importantly, read reviews of all the apps. People love to give their opinions, especially if it's not good. Update your apps and software regularly. I know it can be inconvenient and it always seems to happen at the most untimely points of your day, but it's important to update these apps because more often than not, the updates are security related. Occasionally they'll have user enhancements to make it a better experience for you, but most of the time these updates are to resolve a critical flaw or issue that they found that cyber criminals can exploit to gain your personal information, or it's something to deal with an evolving cyber crime or cyber threat that you may not even know about yet. So making sure your software is up to date and that you don't procrastinate on running those updates will help to ensure your cybersecurity. Back up your data regularly. If your device is compromised through a virus or a malware attack or ransomware, chances are you won't be able to access any of the information on that device. So what better way to maintain that than to have a backup? If you have a backup of all your information and that device is compromised, you can simply wipe it clean and start fresh by using that backed up data to restore to the point where you previously were. Some ways to back up your data, something as simple as a flash drive. Just plug a flash drive into your USB port and copy all of your important files over to that flash drive. The one word of warning I will give you if you use a flash drive is make sure it's password protected. That way, if your flash drive is stolen or lost, your data is still protected. Another avenue, if you prefer to go this way, is to use online cloud storage. A lot of the major cloud providers will provide a small amount of free storage, which is usually enough for the average individual to store all their important files and have access to them whenever you need them. From my point of view, the best option is to use both of those. That way you have a physical backup on a flash drive or an external hard drive, and you also have cloud storage. So either way, if you need to access that data, you have access to it whenever you need it. Be aware of social engineering. Spam accounts are becoming more sophisticated and harder to identify than they've ever been before. If you receive a phone call or an email asking you for any kind of personal information, such as a driver's license number, a social security number, a login, a password, don't give them the information. Contact the company that they say they represent to make sure that that request is valid. A quick phone call can save you a lot of time, hassle, and stress and live further on in the future. The same is true for social media. We really need to be wary of what we post and what we're putting out there for people to see. A quick scan of your social media footprint can give a cyber criminal a lot of information about you in terms of your habits, what you like, upcoming vacations, things that they can use to imitate you to launch attacks on friends, family, colleagues, coworkers, and other people in your social circle. So it's always good to be vigilant and think about what you're posting and who could be reading that to help not only protect you, but to help to protect those in your circle. Protect your physical cybersecurity. This is something a lot of people don't think about when it comes to cybersecurity because you often think of software and technology. but we also need to protect the physical devices we use to access these networks and we use to access the internet. Anytime you have a laptop or a computer, there should be a login and password that you can use to lock that computer when you're not around. The same thing goes for your phones and tablets. There should be some kind of code or password mechanism to make sure it's safe when it's out of your line of sight. If it's not password protected or it's not locked, anybody can grab it and gain access to it and start taking your personal information. Likewise, just think about what we're plugging into our devices. Malware, viruses, ransomware, all these files can be placed onto a flash drive, and when plugged into your computer can automatically find an internet connection and start transferring data or locking out your computer without you even realizing it. A new trend that I'm starting to notice a lot in public are USB charging ports. You no longer need that clunky wall wart to plug in and charge your device. You can just plug your USB cable right into the wall, into your device, and start charging. The concern with this is what's on the other end of that cable. Remember, USB cables were used to carry information before they were used to charge devices. So if you don't know what you're plugging into, use that wall wart and an outlet to make sure you're plugging into a safe connection. As cyber attacks, data breaches, and hacks continue to grow and evolve, it's no secret that our appetite for advanced technology is far exceeding our ability to protect it. That's why it's important to be aware of the threats that you face every day in an online growing world and use the tips that we've talked about today to help protect yourself in that environment. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. My name is David Carrick. I'm the Manager of Technology and Innovation for the West Virginia Manufacturing Extension Partnership, which is part of Mining and Industrial Extension and the Statler College of Engineering and Mineral Resources at West Virginia University.